My friends say they can't read my handwriting. I think they just can't read cursive because I can read this just fine. But to be fair, these are my notes from Purdue. Maybe this is why circuits are so hard. And I tried writing with my left hand for fun, and it makes my cursive look really nice now, doesn't it? So, how does it relate to off spin? Well, my right arm off spin is very solid in the sense that it's rhythmic, simple, and repeatable. Now, of course, I don't have as much control as an actual off spinner, but that's because I've been bowling fast. The action itself is smooth, using my whole body, and if I had to, I could bowl off spin. Now, here's my first attempt at bowling left arm spin. And I jumped off the wrong foot. There's not much to say, but at least the second one was surprisingly better. So, the question is, where do I start? And I actually have some idea because I've actually taught a baseball player and a regular Delaware boy how to bowl in half a semester. And they bowled legally, no bhatta. They had some decent success too when they played. And what I learned from teaching them is that the skill of bowling can be split into two: the action and where the ball goes. Now, these can be mutually exclusive, as people with inefficient actions can still gain great control through just sheer practice. But in the question of whether the chicken or egg comes first, it's definitely the bowling action. And the better the action, the easier it is to control where the ball goes. So, how do I go from this to this? How do I fix my bowling action? Well, you just gotta practice. So I start off with a very simple drill. I call it the clock drill. So imagine facing a clock and you keep your non-bowling arm up at 11 and then your bowling arm down at 6. And then you do your action from that point. This is a good one as it helps you keep your elbow straight and get used to turning your hips in unison with your body. And as you get used to it, you can actually add a step in just to make it feel more like the real thing. That's a very good starting point. Now I want to become an off spinner, so I got to practice spinning the ball. So in this drill, I'm just practicing releasing it with some off spin, and I have a little less dexterity in my left hand, so I actually threw one with my right just to make sure that I'm throwing it right. And after a while, I actually got pretty comfortable with it. So I added the clock drill to this, and as you can see, my elbow is fairly straight. I wasn't focusing too much on it. I was just trying to get as many revs as possible. Now this third is not quite a drill. Basically, I wanted to make sure my gather step is the consistent. The gather step is the step just before you actually throw the ball. And if you start in the same place and end in the same place, you can't be too far off. This last drill is what I call step by step. And you start off at the clock drill, and then with each ball you bowl, you add another step. So the second one, I'm gonna actually try and do a jump, a light jump. And then each ball I bowl, I add one more step, eventually going into your run up. This is very good right at the start. So if you mess up at any point, you can take that step again without having to move forward. And over here, I actually hit the trash can. The reason I kept it in is because my legs were really kicking up, and that means my hips are turning well. I think the hips are the most underutilized body part when it comes to bowling. The faster your hips go, the more spin and the more pace you get. And as you can see, my bowling action is actually taking some really good shape right now. It looks honestly much better than I thought it would be after like a couple sessions. So I just bowled a little more today, and with that I was pretty happy with the session. Now it's good I don't show you where the balls go, because believe me, they're not going anywhere. Moving on to week 2, I actually practiced a little more in between, but this is the first session where I actually focused on just bowling much and less on drills. And I wanted to see how it would go. And it turns out I bowled 42 deliveries, and I've watched all of them, and I bowled 2 balls that could be considered even relatively good, and I show you both of them. Yeah, not really good. And I bowled 11 legal deliveries other than that. So out of 42, I bowled 13 legal deliveries. But as you can see, the action is actually taking good shape. It looks like a bowler's action if you don't look at where the ball's going, right? And considering I'm only 2 weeks in, I'm genuinely surprised. So the next update will come in a couple weeks, and in between I'm actually going to post a video on how you can use angles to make your bowling better. So I'll see you then.